What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball Fighterz for y'all. So today I want to talk about a technique that I've been asked about quite a bit, mostly on stream. If you don't know what this is, it was popularized by Goichi. He used it quite a bit in the Season 2 World Finals, and then he revealed it after he won. It's a jumping technique called the moon jump. And as usual, if you like the guides, match analysis, character reviews, and everything else I've been putting on this channel, definitely consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So to be honest, this technique, the moon jump, can be pretty hard to spot if you don't know what you're looking for. I've definitely mentioned it in both match analysis and talking about my own matches before. It's something that I managed to implement into my own gameplay over time. This is a pretty advanced technique with pretty specific applications. I think that's kind of the reason why people stopped talking about it so much after the Season 2 World Final, but I haven't actually made a video guide about this yet, so I figured now is actually a pretty good time. So first, what is it? So we kind of have to step back and look at jumping in general. So we have normal jumps and double jumps, and we have super jumps, double super jump, and all the things you can do with super jump, like floating, fast falling. Now the important thing is we need to look at the distance that you can travel when you're jumping. So this is a normal jump distance, and this is a normal super jump distance, and here's a dash jump distance. Dash jump is a pretty important way of moving around the screen in general in this game. And here is a dash super jump distance. So then last we have the moon jump distance. So you might be like, okay, so the dash super jump goes farther than the moon jump. So what is so important about the moon jump, and why were people talking about it, and why have you, aka myself, added this to your game? And the difference comes from the dash super jump, where you can visually see a dash and a movement, and the moon jump, where you don't move at all, but the game gives you dashing momentum. And that is the important thing about this technique. So first, how do you do this, right? So you can see my inputs, especially the command history, has been lingering. So for those of you paying attention, you might be like, man, your inputs are kind of weird when you're doing this moon jump thing. So you have to be holding a button. I prefer to hold L, but apparently you could hold M as well. That just depends on your layout, what's comfortable for you. And ideally you have the super dash macro on. For a while actually I had this off, so I had to get used to having this back on in my play between this and doing stuff like super jump, instant air dash. So then what you do is you hold the L button, and then you do a super jump forward while pressing the super dash macro at the same time. And if you do it right, it should look like this. Now, the issue comes from that you have to hit that jump and super dash on the same frame. If not, you'll get this, a super jump IAD, which is fine if that's what you need, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about doing this Goichi jump, moon jump. So you have to do it at the same time. Now, luckily for you, this game has a pretty large buffer, as in it keeps inputs for a while. So the main way you see people choose to do it is usually from movement, because you can buffer the motion. Now, I definitely recommend you practice this on both sides. If you're a person who plays on hitbox, you'll find this to be very easy, and you might not even need the input shortcuts. If you're a person who plays on stick, depending on how you like moving around, it could be mildly difficult. It took me a while to get this down on this side. I was pretty proficient on this side for quite a while. Now I'm comfortable on both sides. On pad, I have an image of this being not too difficult as well. So now that we know how to do it, let's look at some applications. The original purpose of this was to deal with Broly zoning. Of course, we know we can do stuff like super dash through and all that, but as we all realize, this is a pretty big risk. So this is a nice low effort way to get around this. But outside of moving around Ki Blast, there are other applications. So for example, with assists. So here I have base Goku A. So base Goku A appears a little bit in front of where you are. Now, the thing is, if you try to dash jump and call him, it's pretty hard to get him to appear in a threatening place. You would have to do something like that, which takes a kind of long time. But if you moon jump and call him, you get him to the right spot effortlessly because you're moving, you're dashing and jumping immediately. You can do something similar of assists like Roshi Beam. It's also helpful for things like setups. So, for example, there are Ghost Oki setups if you play Go Tanks where you may not always get into the corner, but your opponent is in the corner. So instead, you do Ghosts, and you put your moon jump into the Ghost input. So this makes it so you don't need to be at the exact right position. You can instead just moon jump while firing Ghosts at the same time. Now, as a side note for this type of setup, I find it good, but the issue is if the opponent is varying their wake up, then it could be pretty hard to get the input that you want. To get the moon jump, I generally take advantage of the super freeze. The screen freezes when you do Ghosts to get the input. So just keep that in mind. Another application is with mid-screen knockdowns. You can get way closer and also correct in case the opponent gets up in a different way by using moon jump. Outside of that though, I would say experiment a little bit. It's definitely worth messing around with. If you're already comfortable with your movement using dash jumps, super jump float, etc., you're probably fine, but this gives you some more flexibility in neutral. It makes you able to move to spots that your opponent might not be ready for. Characters that have annoying key blast zoning can get around it a little bit easier with a little less commitment, which is nice. I still think this is quite worth exploring. It's not like a game-changing technique. It's definitely a nice thing to know if you want to both help you out with some matches, especially Broly, because I know people really struggle against this character, and maybe open up some new strategies you might not have noticed before. And I would also say definitely go back and watch some of your favorite players play, especially in the past, like, let's say 4 to 5 months, and you'll probably now notice a difference between them doing dash jumps, dash super jumps, and moon jumps, because there's not a ton of players who use this technique right now. I think it's still kind of a little bit niche, but it's mostly because of the second part of this video, the actual applications for the technique. Hopefully this helps though. Again, I definitely made this video because I get asked about it a lot because I use it quite a bit in my matches. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.